Hey guys, Grandy Tamias here, and on today's Sonic movie video, I wanted to cover something that I haven't seen anyone else talk about or try to explain. Will Sonic return to Mobius? Or whatever his planet is called. I know for some stupid reason Sega doesn't want to acknowledge that Sonic lives on Earth or that the planet he lives on has a name, but for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna call it Mobius, like in the 90s cartoons and comics. And in the novelization for the second film, Mobius is actually mentioned by Knuckles when he has Sonic pinned to a tree. His dialogue plays out largely the same as the scene in the movie. The novelization was likely based on an early version of the second film's script, so we can't fully take it as canon. The same may or may not be said for the prequel comic, but I'm getting ahead of myself. For the majority of the events in both films, Sonic has been shown to live and travel to locations on Earth, despite having an easy way of interstellar travel. The reason he doesn't is because A, his rings are a finite resource, and B, he doesn't want to go back to Mobius for fear that the echidnas would capture or even kill him for his power. When he was discovered by Dr. Robotnik, he did plan to use a ring to go to the Mushroom Planet, but we all know how that ended. At the end of the first film, though, Sonic does learn to face his problems instead of running away. But instead of going back to Mobius and facing the echidnas, he chooses to stay on Earth and live with Tom and Maddie. And I'd say this makes sense. He really cares about them and enjoys living on Earth, so he has no need to go back to Mobius. Although in some of the trailers for the first film, he was shown running through Green Hill Zone at his current age. Maybe this was an alternate ending or a marketing misdirect created for the trailers. Who knows? In the second film, Sonic loses his rings during the snowboard chase, meaning he no longer has a means of extremely long-distance travel, at least not instantaneously across Earth, let alone the galaxy. However, Tails needed a ring to get to Earth, so he likely had more, and Knuckles used several throughout the film himself. So unless they used up all their rings, it's possible that Tails and Knuckles could get more rings for Sonic and themselves from other worlds. But like Sonic, they've probably decided to stay on Earth with the Wachowskis. That's not super clear, maybe they were just visiting for that baseball game and this is a periodic thing, but who knows. Aside from them not wanting to, I think that they could get back to Mobius or any other world. In the prequel comic, Tails and Knuckles are shown visiting locations inspired by levels from the games. And this is in line with what Sonic says in the first film that
rings are how all advanced cultures travel between worlds.
In fact, in one of these worlds, inspired by Casino Night Zone, the Chaotix are visible in the background. And there are all these other anthropomorphic animal aliens too. We don't know if each species originated from different planets or if they all came from the same one, perhaps Mobius, and colonized other planets. Personally, I assume the latter. They have all the typical Sonic character design cues like the muzzles and big eyes with oval pupils, so logically they'd have to have a common ancestor just like life here on Earth. And if they colonized other worlds, they could have something similar to other sci-fi stories like Star Wars or Dune, where they've established an interplanetary empire. It would make sense as a way to expand the movie lore and introduce new characters and locations, in my opinion. Oh yeah, and the comic also explains the origin of these bird helmet tribesmen who find Robotnik. Turns out they were helping Knuckles track down Sonic. But getting back to the main question of this video, I don't think Sonic will return to Mobius or travel across the universe in Sonic 3. As far as we can tell, the film will take place almost, if not entirely, on Earth, considering Shadow's ties to the planet. But that doesn't mean they couldn't go to other worlds in future sequels or spin-offs, assuming that Paramount wants more films after Sonic 3. I think it's very likely they'll want more films, and going off-planet would seem more and more like an inevitability. I mean, just look at the MCU. Aside from the Chitauri in the first Avengers film, there was no exploration of space or other alien races until Guardians of the Galaxy. So who knows, maybe by Sonic 4, 5, or 6 we could see the Black Arms or the Metarex. On the flip side though, going off-world in the Sonic movies would distance the story away from Earthbound characters like Tom and Maddie, who have become really important to Sonic's character. I really don't see them going off-world with Sonic, at least not for long periods of time, and getting involved in all the major action, not to mention all the expensive CGI for the alien locations. That's part of the reason the opening of the first movie with Green Hill Zone was only like 3 minutes, and the Mushroom Planet as well, that was like 5 minutes for both films. So overall, as cool as it would be to have more stories set on other planets in the Sonic movie universe, and learn more about these alien civilizations, I don't see it happening. Especially not so soon after the second movie. Unless for some reason they really wanted to distance themselves from Tom and Maddie, like if they thought stories with them were getting repetitive, I think Sonic will stay on Earth. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments. Should Sonic & Co. return to the Green Hill Zone-styled island anywhere else on Mobius and or other planets in Sonic 3 or later films, or should they keep the story largely confined to Earth? Please consider subscribing to my channel and leaving a like on this video if you want to see more content like this. If you want to follow me on social media, the links to my Twitter page and Discord server are in the description. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed, have a nice day, and thank you for your time.